In our last sitting, we were discussing the hymn 97 on page 96-97. The last line, Tere Sohag var agama gochar jan nanak prem sadhari jiyo, was talking about to come and lean on the ultimate energy in preference to all of the temporary, illusionary world of Maya. Nanak prem sadhari jiyo. Sadhari means literally to depend on, to lean on somebody. Who is that? Tir sohag var agam agochar. That's the one. The one which is beyond all the senses, which is beyond all of the imagination. When you start leaning on that, that is when the journey of this life becomes successful. Now, in order to make the journey successful and in order to develop that love for him, it becomes a very ticklish subject. We don't know, we haven't seen, we have only heard, we have no idea what this energy looks like, feels like. Now, how to develop the love for such a thing? And Gurbani says, if you go through the process of analysis, if you go through the process of arguments, discussions, you are not going to get there. There are hundreds of books written on the subject of spirituality and religion. There is no other subject on this planet that has so many writers as this one. Yet, no one can claim that they have come face to face other than the mystics themselves. The philosophers, the writers, the teachers, the professors, they only hypothesize. So then the question comes, if it is all imaginary, then why? Why even bother? What is the motivation? What is the reason for it? Why shouldn't I sit quietly and spend my life here on this planet and just go as I came in? It is a valid question, and one needs to find the answer within the self. Each one will come up with a different answer as to why look. Why bother? Well, there is a God. Okay, so what? There is a God. Well, you should find him. Why? What he is going to do to me or do for me. Well, he is the one who is already doing everything for you. Okay, then if he is doing everything he is going to do, then why bother? Why worry? This is a very, very critical question that every seeker needs to ask within the self. Why I am looking? We know what I am looking for. I am looking for, I want to meet the God. Or I want to meet Allah. I want to meet Ram. I want to meet Krishna. Whatever the image we have. Okay, so we have this nebulous idea that there is something, someone, somewhere, and we need to meet him. And if somebody was to really put us down and say, sit down and quietly tell me why, we will have difficult time in even putting it into words as to why. And that's why I said that answer is personal. That answer is individual. It is not collective. Your answer may not be my answer. Or maybe most of the time it's not. Most of the time we just follow a herd mentality. We find lots and lots of people doing something and we say, let's try us also. Without thinking, lots of people are doing this. Let's try that. If nothing else, just for the fun's sake. Well, some of the reasons may be exactly that. What else to do? Sitting around, doing nothing, getting bored, we might as well try this. And if nothing else, we will pass the time and we'll have some fun with it. This type of attitude, this type of mindset is not conducive for spirituality. Spirituality required a focused mind, a very clearly distinct mind who has thought through it, who has analyzed it and come to a conclusion on its own. Not a borrowed one. Not somebody gave you the answer and you said, okay, fine. You already have given me the answer. I don't need to look for myself. The answer has to be sought for your own self. And one of the answers might come out to be that I understand that there is a better way of existing. It's a better way of spending the life on this planet. Doing the same things, getting up in the morning and eating and sleeping and getting up again the next day, passing through the cycle, as we all are doing, this will continue, but the state of existence will be different. The quality of life will be different. That is what we have heard from the Brahmgyani, from the mystic who says, Joe jano soe nahe. Whatever you are experiencing and you're thinking it is, it's really not. It is something much different than this. And you need to see it for yourself. And every time we say, well, tell us what it is, all he says is you have to come and know it for yourself. See it for yourself. Now, is that reason good enough? Well, for some it was. For majority it is not. This is a very common observation that spirituality is not for everyone. Well, why not? Why so few? When the world is so large. And the answer is this. That the question of why are you looking is not very satisfactorily accepted by everyone. And they give up and say, well, this is all nonsense, it's all gibberish, it's all talk, nothing happens, there are some rare oddity. These people we talk about, there are few, you can count on the fingers. There are not millions of them, there are few hundreds of them out of the consciousness of the mankind. I mean, how many we will count? Even if we try it. I will run into a few names and then we'll stop. So when we look at that percentage, Mathematician mind says, that's not for me. That is the subject of the next hymn. He says, if it is not for you, because you have not found a satisfactory answer to as to why you are looking, you are not going to get it. It's right in the beginning, it says, the journey, the search has to start with earnest, with a complete understanding, with a complete acceptance. If you are going to get anywhere, that is a prerequisite that your journey, your search must be sincere. It can become sincere only if you have searched for the answer within yourself. Why I am doing this. Particularly when you will find that as you get deeper into this process, the opposition from the outside world is very, very common. From the household, from the friend circle, from the business circle, from all of your near and dears, there will be a certain curiosity and first and then resistance to it. Right? Why are you doing it? You are going away from us. That's not the right thing to do. Come back to the ways we were already doing. So when that pressure builds and you have not solved that question for yourself, because if you were to ask this question of your own even today, right this minute, why I am taking an hour or two out of my busy schedule and come here Friday, 8 o'clock? What do I say? Each one of you will have different answers to that stuff. Your answers will not match. Some of you might say, well, we pity the bastard. He just doesn't give up, keep on talking, and we say, well, he's going to talk to the wall, just sympathetically, just go sit there for a few minutes and listen to it. He's not going to shut up. We've been watching him for the last 30 years. And that may be so. Why, for sympathy for me, you show up anyway? And that may be one of the valid reasons. But then if that is the valid reason, you cannot take this and say, every week I devoted an hour to you and you did not give me any benefit. And he's going to come right back to you and say, no, you are going there only to support the egotistical mindset of some crazy man. You are not coming to me. This journey has got to be from within, by the self, with full faith in it, confidence in it, and full earnest. And that is why the hymn starts by saying, Khojat khojat darshan Chahey. This journey is to find. Khoj. Khoj literally means to look for something. What are you looking for? It says Darshan Chahey. I want to experience that energy. Khojat khojat darshan Chahey. Why? As I said earlier, the answers are individual. The answer is to that question is personal. What will you do once you meet him? I have shared that story with you that if the only purpose of life is that you are looking for him, the next logical question is, what would you do when you find him? What would be the next action, next decision next choice, wants to meet him. Have you thought through it? Have you meditated on this? Why I am seeking? The answer to me, to myself, is just, well, wait a minute, wise guy. What's your answer? Well, my answer is very simple. I want to lead the rest of the life in a better than what I am leading now. In a better state of mind, in better state of body, better state of existence. This life, as I am leading now, is not very satisfactory to me. I need to improve upon it. And I understand that there is no state other than being in His presence that can come close to the quality of life anywhere on the planet. That's my reason. To me, this life as I am living is not better than the life of an animal or a bird. Whatever they are doing, I'm doing. I have to be doing something better in the human body form. Hence, I'm seeking Him. But that's my answer. However illogical, however shortcoming, how many shortcomings this answer has, that's for me to deal with. You don't have to accept that. But I do urge you, you find your answer before you go or before you can go in any deeper into this process. Why? And Gurbani is saying, Khojat Khojat Darshan Chahey, Bhaad Bhaad Ban Ban Avagahe. And what did the people do? They wanted to find out. They wanted to meet, but they got misdirected right at the very first step. How did they get misdirected? They went out. Where? In the forest, in the jungle. Where did they go? Bhaat bhaat ban ban avagahe. Ban means forest. So the people went out. What are you doing? We are looking for Him. Nirgun sargun har har mera koi hai jiyo aan milave jiyo. And what they had in mind? They had in mind nirgun sargun har har mera koi hai jiyo. The one who's both nirgun and sargun. These are the two words. Nirgun means without any characteristics. Sargun means with all of the characteristics. Guna literally means characteristics. Nir, without. Sar, with. The one which is with characteristics and without characteristics at the same time, simultaneously. There was a British writer who had a famous quotation saying, Gita is the mumbling of a child. And somebody asked him, why do you say Gita is the mumbling of a child? So, well, very simple. They say he is the greater than the greatest and the smaller than the smallest, and that is an impossibility. Something that is greater than the greatest, how can that be smaller than the smallest? Mathematically, logically, he is asking a question of us and saying, those of you who believe there is a power which is great, it is so great, it is greater than anything, everything that you have ever seen or experienced. And then at the same time in the same breath you say, but he is also smaller than the smallest. Now, isn't it a mumbling of a child? Does it appear contradictory? Does it appear oxymoron? Greater than the greatest and smaller than the smallest at the same time, simultaneously. It appears, that's a key word. It appears to be contradictory, but it is not. Greater than the greatest and the smaller than the smallest simultaneously is a reality. It is a factual, truthful statement. When you will go deeper into it, you will find that one which cannot be smaller than the smallest cannot also be greater than the greatest. Because we are not talking in a physical size. We are not talking of something substantial. That is as if it's a big table or it's a big elephant or a big mountain or a big planet. That's not what we are talking about. We are talking about an energy that can be so finite that it can pervade smaller than the smallest, and it is so enormous that it is all pervading. There is nothing left without it. The presence. When the science was discovering the energy travel, sound needs a medium. Sound cannot travel in a vacuum. And the very first thing they noticed that the thunder is traveling from hundreds of thousands of miles down. Well, there is no air there, so how is it traveling? And they came back with the answer, well, there is something there. But what is that something? And they concocted a term called ether. We on this planet, on this earth, have not tasted ether, we have not touched ether, we have not smelled ether, we don't know what it is. But it is something. And it can only be named. A simple phenomena of traveling of sound and light gave the idea to the scientists that there is something out there, but what it is we cannot put our finger on. This is way, way before even the science came to the level where it is today. They knew then. Nirgun, Sargun. That which is without the characteristics, that which is with the characteristics, there are very few rare human beings who accept this contradiction and are comfortable with it, are not uneasy with it. They accept it in its totality and say, yeah, it makes sense. Koi aan milave jiyo, some rare one that accept this and make the effort to milave jiyo, to meld the, to meet, to see, to actually experience. Khat shastra vichar mukh jnana, while those who did not go outside, but the intention was good. What was the intention? I want to meet. Khojat, Darshan, Chahey. The objective is this. But that objective is set not by an outsider. It is set up by the self. Well, should I stop everything that I am doing and go look for him? I said, well, is that what you want to do? Ask yourself how strong that burning inside is that I want to experience him. I want to know that what Nanak is talking about in Gurbani. I want to experience. I just don't want to talk about it. I just don't want to read about it. I just don't want to discuss about it. I want to know it. Well, if that is the intention and you have set up that intention on your own, for your own reasons best known to you, nobody has to agree with your reasons. And therein lies the problem. People exploit that fact. What would you do if your child comes to you and say, well, guess what, mom? I have decided to find God. Here are your books and here are your uniforms for the football jersey and all that. I'm sitting and meditating. How many of us are willing to say, okay, son, we'll support you? How difficult it is. Even for our own child. Is he sincere or he is lazy and using this as an excuse? How would we know? We don't. Only the child knows whether he is sincere or whether he is using it as an excuse. And in society, such sites exist. They leave the world, they leave the schools and the colleges. They change their dress and they say, what? We are looking for God. And we are depending upon the society. They become parasites to the society. They start eating off them. And if you cannot challenge them, is this a good reason? Are you really sincere about it? Or all you want to do is not to work all day, sit around, and in the evening and morning get the food that you need? How would you distinguish that? There is no easy answer to that question. In India particularly, society does not challenge your intention when it comes to religion and such. That's why the number of ascetics are mushrooming there more than the factories are opening there. Because they're exploiting this very deal. Well, they are there, we are here. Are we exploiting something here also? Are we escaping from our responsibilities behind the word of God? Or are we sincere? Well, how would we test it? Well, first thing, that none of our responsibilities have gone down the drain. I am asked that question all the time. You devote so much time there. What about your family? Well, what about my family? How are they? They are well taken care of. What do you mean? My both children are grown up, they are educated. One is a doctor, another is an attorney. I'm living in a house which is paid for. What else is required? I don't have any loan. My cars are paid for, my house is paid for, everything is paid for. Tell me what else society needs from a man who has a family. What else is required? If you invite me on a function, I'll come and join you. You may be uncomfortable with my presence there, but I'm not uncomfortable with your presence. I'll go and get a drink for you if you want. And if I don't join you, please don't feel bad. That's the test. But that test is for me. I set it up for myself. That when I am on this search, I will not search with a half-hearted. I will not use that as an escapism from any responsibility. I will not tell my wife that I am under so much debt that when I die, you are going to have to declare bankruptcy. On the contrary, I said when I die, you will be living better off because my life insurance will make you rich. That's the reality. I am more valuable to her dead than alive. What does that mean? It means the spirituality is not an escapism from anything. From the family, from the friends, from the world. It's not. So running to the outside world does not at all help you. Running away does not help. It will only cause problems. So those who did not go outside, what did they do? Khat shas bichirat mukh gyana. Khat literally means sticks. Shastra. The Vedas. Chhai ghar, chhai guru, chhai upadesh, guru, eko, vesanak. Those 6 chapters. In them, there is gyan, there is knowledge about life. People went to study them. From there they learned and they went out to what? Puja, tilak, tirat, asnana. They went out on the journey to take bath at various holy places. There is no holy place on this planet other than the place where you are sitting right now. It is a myth. Place is never a holy one. The land is just one. It's one earth. God did not mark any one area or the other, even though it is interesting to note that there is one wall on this planet in which 3 major religions go and worship and kiss it and then come out and kill for it. You know what wall I'm talking about. In Jerusalem. 3 religions, Christianity, Islam and Judaism, are worshipping that single wall. They make a pilgrimage to it every year. They pray there. On the opposite side, the religion is kissing it. And then they come and want to kill each other. Why? Because you are a Shiite and I am a Sunni, so why should I allow you to live? Yesterday, 58 people died because somebody bombed. Worshippers going to the mosque. Even the mosque has become a Shia mosque and a Sunni mosque. Isn't that a tragedy on this planet? A building has become some symbolism of it. Destroy this mosque. Why? Because it does not belong to our group. A piece of land can never be holy. Somebody can be holy and sit on a piece of land by virtue of that, acquire that energy. That is possible. But then that energy doesn't stay there forever. If Jesus came to Jerusalem and stayed there for a few days of his 33 years of life, that energy of Jesus is not sitting there 2,500 years later on. It's gone. And when it is not gone, we made it sure it will go. Because we started actually shedding the blood there instead of a holy water. Tirat. I'm trying to describe the word Tirat to you. Tirat is not a piece of land. Tirat is where the energy manifests. That's a Tirat. If where you are sitting right now and God was to manifest inside you right now, this chair, this land, this house, becomes a Tirth. That's it. Wherever there is a manifestation of holy creation, holy creativity, that is the Tirth. Church is not house of God. That God is a very small one who's living in a church or a mandir or in a masjid or in a gurdwara or in a temple. That God is a very small God. It can't be. His house is everywhere. Everything belongs to Him. Khand shasat vicharat gyana, puja, tilk, tirth, isnana. There is no water that is that holy that can wash away your sins. Water can only wash away the dirt of your body or your clothes. Moot paliti kappad hoye, te saboon lage hot hoye. That's about it. Your body has become dusty, your clothes have become dirty. With the water you can wash them and clean them. But if the mind itself has gone dirty, पर ये मत पापां के संग ओ धोपे नारे के रंग. The only way to wash the mind is through the meditation of His name. There is no other way. There is no other doctor's medicine available to clean it out. निवली करे आसन 84 इनमें शांत न आवे जियो. Now this is Yoga Shastra. Patanjali Yoga teaches you how to take the intestines out of your body and wash them and put it back again. Your so-called Baba Ramdas, he is the master of that. The guy who rotates his stomach. He is expert in that Neolibhyangam asana. So that's Yoga Shastra. Yogasana. Yogasana are okay for the body, its health, its physique, but it has nothing to do with the spirit. Nivli kar asan 84 inme shant na aave jiyo. You are not going to find the peace in there. Even though you started with the right intention. What intention? Khojat Darshan Chahey. You started with the right intention. You went to the forest with the right intention. You went to study the Shastra with the right intention. You went to the Yoga Shastra with the right intention. But it didn't do the real trick. Why not? Because they are all dealing with the human body. They are not dealing with the human spirit. They are dealing with your emotions. They are not dealing with your thought process itself. What makes you feel good and what makes you feel bad? You are not dealing with that. You are dealing with, this makes me feel bad, so let me get rid of it. But that's not spirituality. That's not mysticism. Gurbani makes that clear to every seeker who wants to listen. Look, if your objective is to what? Khojat Darshan Chahey. If that is your objective, then these are the things that you are doing. They are eventually going to disappoint you. And this is what we get every day of the week, every weekend we go and listen to some wise, smart, educated, learned, professional, and we come empty-handed. And then we wonder, what did we get here? We thought we will achieve a peace of mind. We didn't even get that peace of mind while we were sitting there, much less afterwards. Why? Because they are going to say, do this karma. If you go to a Sikh Gurdwara, they will say, make sure you have your hair and make sure you have your turban and the beard and make sure you have taken Amrit and make sure you have done this. And you scratch your head and you say, well, those who have done it, I don't find them any better than me. Is that what leads me to spirituality? No. It increases the number, the voting. The voting block keeps on getting bigger and bigger, that's all. And all they are interested in the voting block. They are not interested in how your spirit grows. What's happening inside you? If you are sad, why are you sad? If you are happy, why are you happy? And if you know you are happy, why can't you keep on duplicating that happiness for the rest of your life? Why is that happiness temporary? Why doesn't it reprocreate itself? I'm happy today, I will be happy in the morning, I'll be happy in the evening, I'll be happy next day. Why you keep on not just extending it? What's the problem? Well, here's the problem. That happiness was momentarily because it was dependent on something else. When that reason is gone, the happiness is gone with it. The happiness did not come from within. When does the happiness come from within? When you see Him from within. That's when the happiness will come. At last. That is what is the promise of Gurbani to you. If you seek that happiness and you find that happiness within, it will stay with you forever. If you find the happiness without, meaning from outside, no guarantee how long it will stay with you. Right? अनेक बरख किए जप तापा गवन किया धरती पर माता एक छिन हृदय कांत न आवे जोगी बावड़ बावड़ उठ धावे अनेक बरख किए जप तापा तपश्चर्या. What is the yogic tapasya? To burn the fire, sit next to the fire, take the ash out of the fire, rub it on the body, and punish the body for all the changes that are taking place in the weather. You're not going to wear any clothes. Your only clothes is your ash. And you're going to that's it. You're done. Gurbani says Yogi has been doing it for centuries. Not one day, 1 month, 1 year. Go look. This process is going on. अनेक वर्ष किए जप तापा गवन किया धरती भरमाता. And then Yogi also has another tradition. They don't stay at one place for more than 3 to 5 days. They move on. Actually, they consider 3 days to be the optimum to live, to stay at one place. So they travel from place to place. Again, what is the intention? The intention is good. I'm looking for God. Yes, Ataji. I'm saying why they are following the yogic life. Yogi becomes a yogi with the good intention of finding God. One of the problems in the way of God is attachment. So not to form the attachment, they get up every third day and move out to a new place so that the people are new and the place is new. So what is this? What is the fallacy in this process? Can anybody see it? The problem is that they are putting the responsibility on the other. The attachment is formed from within. Right? If I have moved every third day, have I developed the capacity not to form the attachment? Right? I never gave the chance for the attachment to build. And they think they are doing the right thing. Because the responsibility is on the other. The where I go, I am going to leave them so that I am not attached. No, the detachment is that you are there, you still are not attached. That's the fallacy in their thinking. Not easy to live there like that. अनग बरख किए जब तापा गमन किया धरती भरमाता एक खिन हृदय शांत ना आवे जोगी बहुड़ बहुड़ उठतावे जियो. He gets up and goes somewhere else every third day. And he doesn't understand what he is doing wrong. I'm not attached anywhere. I didn't make my hut anywhere. I didn't make my temple anywhere. What is that I'm doing wrong? Gurbani tells him, this is what you're doing wrong. You are not learning how to live a detached life. This is not. Because the attachment, the only way you are going to learn to detach is first there has to be an attachment possibility. When there is a possibility and then you don't get attached, you have learned it. If there is a possibility and you still get attached, then whether you move from this place to this place, you will still be thinking of this. We have left India and we are sitting 14,000 miles away from India. Are we not attached to the people in India? Don't we think of them all the time? Don't we put a call through once a month at least and say, how are you doing? That's attachment. Just leaving and moving does not guarantee the attachment. The same case with us, right? The child goes to the college, and what's mom's requirement? Every evening before going to bed, you are going to call me. And the day you don't call me, I will know that you are not in your room on time. Right? He's controlling sitting 4,000 miles away. That's called attachment. Well, what do you mean we should leave our children to go goof off? I have news for you. If they are going to goof off, they are going to goof off, and guess what? You are a goofer. What's your problem? Every child does this, will do this. That's how the child grows and becomes an adult, male or female. There was a show yesterday on the television in which the girls less than 15 years old are doing sexting. Text, that's sexual in nature, sexting. And they're sending their pictures naked to their boyfriends. And the host is asking as to why are you doing this? Well, the only way to attract attention is to do what they want you to do. There are only top 1% of the class which are that beautiful or that pretty that the girls feel that they will be wanted by the whole class, but the rest of the class, average looking girl, average looking this, blah, 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 blah. In order to feel attractive, in order to be attracted to people, you have to do what you have to do. And that's the reality whether parents want to face it or not. The children telling their parents are on the show with them. And the mothers are sitting there crying, and then the daughters are telling them, this is what it is. You can cry and you can do what you want to do, but that's the reality you have to face. I am facing it every day out there in the school. Unless you have a solution for this, don't complain. I bring you this example only to make a point. When we go away from the reality and think we are doing everything right, and the results don't turn out to be right, it is guaranteed that what you were doing was not right. There was something lacking. You did not face the reality. This is face the facts. This is face the truth. Which is what these yogis are doing. When they are getting up every Thursday and walking to a new village, they are not overpowering, overcoming, transcending their attachment. They are escaping the attachment completely. That's why in Sikhism it says, stay in the Grift Marg, stay married, stay in the society, so that you know that you are learning, that you are developing what you thought you were developing. If there is no reason for you to be angry with anybody, how do you know the anger has been overcome? If there is no reason to be greedy, how do you know the greed has been overcome? On and on and on. And Gurbani says, it doesn't have. एक खिल हृदय शांत न आवे जोगी बहुत बहुत उठ धावे. एक खिल, even a moment's worth of happiness and peace is not available to them. And whole of the life is wasted. So what's the answer to all of that? कर कृपा मोह साधु मिलाया, मन तन शीतल धीरज पाया, प्रभ बनासी बचया खड़ भीतर, हर मंगल नानक गावे जियो. Says you need to meet the true master. That's the first prerequisite. Seek the guidance, seek the counsel of the one who is not vested in himself or herself. The only interest is in what? In him. That is it. No self-motivation, no self-interest. That is the real sadhu. Kar kirpa mohe sadhu milaya. That is the sadhu of Sukhmani. Those of you who have listened to the expansion on Sukhmani know that we defined sadhu there very elaborately. There is a whole Ashtapadi on sadhu only. That sadhu who is interested in putting you on the path, the right path, he will point out to you that get up and walk out is escapism. Spirituality is not escapism for anything. Not from the family matters, not from the business matters, not from the social matters. Spirituality is not escapism from anything. It is actually a school. It becomes a training class for you if you stay within the world. Inside this world, you live and then watch yourself and say, you know, when this happened, this was the energy inside me. When this happened, this was the energy inside me. Now you can correct it. Manatan Sital Tiraj Paya. Because the key is the mind-body system. Should come into the equipoise, Sahajavastha. It should come down there. Prabha Banasi Bakya Khad Bhitar Har Mangal Nanak Gave Jiyo. By just being in complete meditative and prayerful state with him all the time is the only way to meet him, to actually personify him within ourselves. So this is the hymn 12 on page 98, and we will conclude our today's talk with this. I want to thank you all for coming, and we will open for any question and answer discussion.